Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of theresellermindset.com. And today I want to talk to you about what standards you are holding yourself to. Reselling is a very interesting business because you can get started with very little or nothing really. You can just grab stuff around your house, start selling it. You don't have a boss controlling you. I mean, you have a boss in the sense that you have eBay or Etsy or Poshmark or Depop or Mercari or Amazon or whoever with their rules and regulations on how you can operate on their marketplace, but you can do it however you want. And while this is good for people who are very diligent and very self-motivated, it can be a disaster for average people who've only known a way of life of being an employee. So having somebody else tell them what to do, tell them where to be, tell them what time to be there, and to give them all these parameters and things to cage them in to get them to produce and to be the employees they need them to be. Many times when those people are lacking those boundaries that is set up by working for somebody else, they tend to not hold themselves to the highest standards. When they work for somebody else, they had somebody else holding themselves to a standard. You have to show up on time. You have to do this amount of work within a certain period of time, or otherwise you might have some issues and you might eventually get fired if you don't show up on time, if you don't do your work properly in the right quantity of work. But as a reseller, you don't have that. One of the things I learned early on in business was, even though I have my own businesses and I don't need to go in at a certain time or don't need to do this or that, I can just do whatever I want, essentially, I had to hold myself to a higher standard. I had to treat my businesses like a real business. And reselling is no different. Now, I'm not telling you have to have set hours or anything like that. I don't care about that. I care about you getting work done and being productive in your business. Whether you get up at noon or you get up at 5 a.m., I don't care. That's not what's going to make the big difference in your life. There are people who get up at 5 a.m. and get barely anything done all day. There are people who get up at noon, they get a tremendous amount done during the day. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about micromanaging stuff like that. I'm talking about, do you hold yourself to a higher standard? What is your standard for your performance each day? How many hours a day do you actually put in real work? Now, you can go to your kitchen or your office or whatever you have and create listings or respond to customers or just piddle around. But are you getting real work done? What is your standard? And I'm asking you this, I'm not telling you what standard you need to have, except that I want you to do your best. And so for me, I think your best would be really giving your all each and every day. This means you'll have friends who don't understand that you're a professional in your reselling business. You're not an amateur. You're not treating it like a joke or a hobby. They'll say, when they have days off, oh, you don't have to work. You can just come with me. People will try to sidetrack you. Now, understand, they're not trying to purposely sidetrack you. They just don't get it. They have the confines of somebody else telling them what to do and where to be. And so when they have a day off, they see you free to do whatever you want. They don't grasp it. They don't grasp that you're treating yourself like a professional. They don't grasp that you're running your business like a real business and not a hobby. And so they may just want to invite you to things and do things and waste time in the middle of the day when you need to be active in your work, busy in your endeavors. For weaker people, this is where a standard is so important, that you set a high standard for yourself. You hold yourself to the highest levels and you treat your business like a real business. So when those kind of things come up and things to take off, or maybe you just don't feel like working today, and you could take off because there's nobody telling you not to. eBay's not going to send you a notice saying, why aren't you listing items today? Why aren't you shipping things out? They're not going to say anything. They might if you're late on shipping orders, but otherwise you don't have to. You got to hold yourself to the highest standard. You can't expect somebody else to do it. And you can't lower your standard to accommodate people who don't understand running a business like a professional and don't understand being successful, because you might know people who want you to get sidetracked in these little time off here and there and do this and do that. And maybe they have a business, but they also may not be very successful in their business. Those are not the people you want to be taking life advice from or looking to for examples of what you're supposed to do. I watch a lot of reselling content because I enjoy it. I don't technically really watch it, sit down and like look at it and watch it. Normally I have it playing in the background and kind of listen to it, listen to things people sold, listen to people talking about things going on in their reselling business. I enjoy it while I'm doing work. But I see so many resellers who have low standards for themselves. They're quick to take time off. They're quick to go on a vacation. Things that hinder their businesses. And you see these people year after year, they're in the same rut they've been in for years now. Their business is not improving, not by any real measure. They're just kind of stagnant. And it's because they hold themselves to a lower standard. Now, some people might plateau and they might be fine with where they are. But I don't think anybody's really fine with just being at some plateau. I think everybody would like to do better. But first and foremost, if you're going to do better, you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. Do you treat your business like a real business? Do you treat yourself like a professional? A professional does not call off and not work for the day because they can. A professional works, they work day in and day out. They're professionals. A professional does not get in arguments with their customers over a problem in shipping because they're a professional. A professional does not get personally offended because somebody sends you a low offer because they're a professional. You hold yourself to this highest standard. You expect the best from yourself. You'll start performing better. And it's very interesting because when you do this, we start looking at the business like a real business or treating like a real business, you'll have opportunities open up that you never even expected. You'll have sourcing opportunities. You'll have more sales. You'll have better clientele. Everything will just start falling in line when you hold yourself to the highest standard. Now, you can do the traditional reseller mentality, just treating it like a hobby, not really all that serious about it, kind of taking days off here and there. It doesn't really matter because nobody's going to say anything. That can be your mentality. But if you're not doing at least 6 figures a year, you need to have a higher standard for yourself. Now, listen, this is not to criticize anybody. I don't care what you do. You can do whatever you want. But if you're watching these videos, I'm pretty sure you want to improve yourself as a reseller. And I'm pretty sure you want to get more sales. Is there any reseller out there that says, oh no, I don't want any more sales. I have too many as it is? I don't think so. When I've had hundreds of sales in a day, I didn't say, oh, I sure don't want this many sales. No, you just keep improving and you find ways to improve your processes. You find ways to get your inventory faster and get it listed quickly and to do all kinds of things in a better, more professional way that in the end gets you more profit. So I want to encourage you today to think about this. Literally write this down. I would encourage you to watch this video a number of times, but also write down today and ask yourself, just for about 5 minutes or so, just ask yourself, what standard do I want to hold myself to? And then ask yourself about every aspect of your business. How fast do you ship? Do you ship the same business day? Do you ship one day? Or do you ship 2 or 3 or 4 days? My friend, that's not going to cut it today. I ordered a memory card and it was overnighted to me. We're dealing with people expecting things to be shipped quickly. What is your standard as far as your shipping? What is your standard as far as your customer service goes? Do you respond to customers quickly or do you just put it off? Well, I don't want to deal with that and you just wait till another time. What about the type of inventory you get? What is your standard there? I know people listing $5 items. Why? Now, I'm not criticizing you if that's all you have, but if you have more options, why would you ever get those $5 items when you can be getting 10 or 20? And you shouldn't be getting 10 either, but it's at least better than 5, 20, 30, 40, $50 items. What is your standard there? This is not a critique on what you do. You can do whatever you want. You can list $5 items all day long if that's what you want to do. But what is your standard? How many hours a day do you work? What is your standard? And just start going down the line, thinking every aspect of your business. What shipping companies do I use when I ship an item out? Do you only use the Postal Service? Have you tried FedEx? Have you tried UPS? What is your standard? This is to get you to think and really consider these things and literally write out your standard. What is your standard for all these areas of your reselling business? And if you want to, feel free to share it in the comments. I'd be interested in hearing it. But I want you to have the highest standard for yourself. I want you to hold yourself to the highest standard possible for your reselling business. You know, there are resellers quitting all over the place. You see it all the time on social media. This reseller is quitting. This reseller is going away. You see some resellers that they grow up real quickly, but they have no root. They sprout up quickly, they have no root, and they wither away. I remember one couple, they sprouted up real quickly. Oh, we got to get this warehouse. They're doing it out of their house at first. Then they got this warehouse. Then next thing you know, they're out of business. It wasn't because they scaled up too quickly, but many people do not have the highest standard for themselves, and it can really sabotage you. Bad habits will come in because your standard's low. Bad habits will come in because you're not holding yourself to the highest standard, and it can cause many problems in your business. I want you to be the greatest success. So I want you to do this today. Literally write down what is your standard for all the aspects of your reselling business. Look it over and really consider this, and then consider, am I living up to this? And if you're not, make the corrections, make the changes you need to make, tweak things here and there, and become that professional reseller that you know you can be. And my friend, if you do that and you're consistent, you are going to have an ultra high performing and successful reselling business. I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.